T-minus 20 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Ooh, baby, 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 ooh, baby.
What's up, everybody, and welcome back to Movies and Beyond. Once again, I am Michael, and today, well, we're doing Horror Talking Coffee this morning. I'm a little tired. I just woke up not too long ago, and no, I do not have a cup of coffee, which makes me sad. But, I mean, what can you do, right? What can you do? I will definitely bring my coffee for the next Horror Talking Coffee, but today I wanted to talk about the new Conjuring trailer. If you didn't see the video, I actually posted a video. I'm so proud of myself. I woke up yesterday, I saw that the trailer had dropped, and well, it's like, Michael, you always talk about doing reactions, and just go ahead and do it. So I filmed it yesterday. I edited it when I got home from work last night, and I just threw it out there. So if you didn't check that out, go ahead and check that out. You see my reaction to the trailer. Since my reaction, I probably watched it, I don't know, 30 times, maybe like 30 times, 40. I don't know. I watched it quite a few times at work, and it's funny because you have your initial reaction to something, and then you have the afterthoughts after you've seen it like 30 times. And my initial reaction to it was, yes, we have a Conjuring movie. Yes, it looks like a demonic Conjuring movie. Yes, it looks haunted. Yes, it doesn't look like the Conjuring 3, which I did go back and watch not too terribly long ago, and it wasn't bad, right? It just was my least favorite of the three. So this kind of, first time seeing, I'm like, this is back to basics. We look like we're getting exactly what I want. But at the same time, after watching it 30 times, I'm not gonna lie, I have some concerns, and we're gonna break it down today. And I'll throw some stuff up there, and we'll piece through it. Like, I'm gonna try to piece through it, and I'll be upfront and honest with you guys. Of course, when I do trailer reactions, it's flat out copyright slammed on the video, right? So I don't ever put too terribly much into like the reaction type videos, because you already know, like, once you put that up there, once you put the trailer up there, you're gonna get slammed with the copyright. So what I will do is I will put the trailer up here today. We will look through it, but we're gonna piece by piece it, right? And that's gonna do two things. That is going to do it's going to, one, we're going to be able to go through each individual piece, and two, it's going to keep me from getting copyright slammed all over the place. So two birds with one stone with that. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to help each other out. We're going to look through all this stuff. I see I have a few people in the chat, which is surprising for a Horror Talking Coffee at 11:30 a.m. But I love y'all. I see that Val's here. I see that Melissa is here. I see that Russell is here. I see that Mr. Rick stopped by as well, and he's working, but he said I'll watch it later. That's freaking awesome. You guys are awesome. Damn, I wish I had my coffee. I would have a little bit more energy for you guys. Once this is over, I will have to go and get ready for work and head off and start my day. But The Conjuring, let's talk a little bit about initial reactions to The Conjuring. I do see that Val threw this up here and said, "What, Michael? That trailer was great, and it looks like this is going to be a great movie." I hope so. I do. I really hope so. That's what I want. I'm a huge Conjuring fan. The Conjuring, the original, it's probably top 5, if not top 3 favorite scary movies for me of all time. I am a huge fan of this franchise, and I want it to be great. you know, we're gonna get into it. We're definitely gonna get into it. But yeah, it's good to be on here in the morning. I initially wanted to do these on Wednesdays. Yesterday I had something going on to where I couldn't. I actually got up on time, which was amazing. So here we are today, but that's fine because there will be no show on Sunday. It is Mother's Day, and I'm not gonna. So I want to see my mom. So I won't really be able to prep for the show correctly. You know what? So we'll still do something Monday though, right? We will have Monday, no Sunday. I will let Mad Matt know today. But I don't want to do Mother's Day. I don't want to do a Mother's Day show. But back to The Conjuring. Let's throw this up here and let's not waste a whole lot of time. And let's throw this up here and start going through it. Hang on one second. I'm somewhat prepared for this, but let me go ahead and get this up here. Let's see. 1 second. Oh, it's morning. I do see this though. Let's go through. Val, talking about this movie. Yes. In the case, this movie is about as nasty and scary. Right. Yes. It's agreed. And we'll talk a little bit about that. And Val, you're saying James Wan. Actually, James Wan is not directing this one. He's there, but he's not directing. The guy that did the Devil. Oh shit, what's it called? The Devil Did It, or The Devil Will Do It, or whatever the fuck it was. Devil Made Me Do It. Holy shit, I'm losing my mind here. No, but Michael Chavez is directing this one. So it's not James Wan directing, but you know, and that's fine because you know James Wan has his hands in everything, you know, with this. So hopefully he's got a lot of influence with it. But yeah, so let's jump into this trailer. See, I got going about something else, and I even forgot to bring it up. That's that ADD of mine that we got here. Here it is. All right, we have the trailer, and we're going to go through piece by piece. I'm going to do it in more than likely 5-second increments, and we'll look at it. So, you know, initially, right here, we get the pan down in the house. So let's see what we got here.
Don't touch it.
All right, initially, they go right into their house, right? We have that. And you know, if you're going into Ed and Lorraine's house, you are going straight for the room of doom, right? We're going straight into their place, their little museum that they have with the door that says don't fucking come in here or you're gonna get fucked up, you know. Like, that's, to me, initially seeing this trailer, it was just like, you're giving me familiarity. I can't believe I said that word right somewhat. So you're giving me that nostalgia feeling, especially if you're a Conjuring fan. You're showing me all the stuff that we've seen and that we've missed, and you know, that guarantee, like, yes, this is a Conjuring movie. See, here's our stuff.
Anything. Everything you see in here is either haunted.
So you go in like that, right? He's explaining himself like he's done in the other movies, right? We've seen a couple other instances in these movies where he's taken someone in there, you know, don't touch anything. And it's a perfect time in the trailer to start panning through the familiar things that we've seen already. Because, right, in a trailer, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want that nostalgia connection to the people that love, you know, your franchise. So you're initially going to want to pull them in, right, watching the trailer. So let's show them the Crooked Man, let's show them Annabelle, let's show them a picture of the Nun, you know, all that familiar stuff that we've loved in the past movies. And that's a good way to start a trailer for sure.
Haunted.
See, there she is.
Been used in some sort of.
You know that Valak has a lot of fans, right? You know, Valak appeared in, you know, The Conjuring 2, you know, such a popular character. In fact, that, you know, we had the spin-off of The Nun and The Nun 2. Hell, it even got a sequel, a spin-off that got a sequel. That's going to tell you, you know, it's definitely a popular character, and it's definitely a big character within this series. So you got to show if you're doing a trailer for The Conjuring, you've got to show people what's familiar to them, and you've got to show Valak. I would. I mean, for real.
For ritualistic practice. Nothing's a toy.
And then we're going to go ahead and go right there because, as popular as Valak is within the Conjuring universe, right? This girl got 3 movies, right? Annabelle's got 3 of her own movies. Not only 3 of her own movies, she has been in she was in The Conjuring 1. She was in The Conjuring 2. Hell, she was in well, no, because that was an Annabelle. She's been in a lot, right? So guaranteed Annabelle's got to be in here, and not only just be a flash, but you're going to focus a little more on Annabelle. So for the trailer, the nostalgia is pulling us in. They're doing their job. They're showing us the things that we love, and you're going to end it with Annabelle. Good call.
Not even the toys.
Going in a new line, the house that Freddy built. You guys know that already. So now that they've given us the familiarity, a word that I cannot say very well, let's jump into the new stuff.
How many cases you guys had?
So right away we get Ed and Lorraine Warren, right? Those are your 2 focal characters. Those are your 2 main characters that you're going to want to focus on right away. And here's the thing, right? Do I know a whole lot about making movies? No, I love movies, but these are all things that I notice when I watch the trailer like 1,000 times yesterday, right? Realistically, probably 20, 25, maybe 30. It's kind of embarrassing, but yeah, I watched it quite a bit.
Cases.
My name is Ed Warren, here with my wife Lorraine.
So they said they've done over 1,000 cases. Now, if you remember, what was it in The Conjuring? I think it was the original Conjuring. They went into someone's house. This was before they went to the main investigation. That couple had those pipes that were up in the attic, and they were making noises. And it was based off of like the temperature and like the wind coming through the window and everything. So their house ended up not being haunted. And he talked about how many times they went in houses, and he was saying that X% of these, it's usually nothing, right? So I would figure that he would be counting those into the thousands of investigations to where, it was just like, yeah, we've been to 1,000 houses, but, probably like 10 of them have been haunted, so it's probably a number like that. But to say thousands, I mean, shit, that's quite a bit.
Yeah, maybe 1,000.
Every case is different.
Yeah, and I mean, now we're jumping into seeing this is the Smurl haunting, and we will talk a little bit about that. But now we've jumped into the investigation part of it. So we've established at the beginning, we've got the nostalgia for you. Here's the nostalgia. These are all the things that you guys know and love. We're going to make you know that this is a Conjuring movie. Then we're going to focus on Ed and Lorraine. These are the people you came to see, right? These 2 are the reason why that you're here. And we're going to focus on all the things that they've done, right? 1,000 cases, right? So this trailer is doing a very good job so far of building up that fanfare, right? I think that's what you would call it. This is me coming to a realization live as I'm talking to you guys. They build up that fanfare quite well. We've got nostalgia, we've got the fanfare. So yeah, let's jump into the new case. We've established it for the fans. Now let's go ahead and pull them in with some stuff that like it's gonna be some Conjuring shit, y'all. Like, definitely. Let me jump into some of the comments. I'm sorry. Let's Val said, going into one of the most haunted places, the Warrens artifact room. It is like, and here's another thing too. And if I didn't mention this, I'd be a freaking idiot. This year at Scarefest, they're bringing their collection, right? So, I'm going to try to poke my head in there. I did find out, however, that you are limited on pictures that you can take. That's as much information as I could get so far. So the idea of me going in there with a camera and filming video is probably not gonna happen. I mean, I'm gonna try. Don't get me wrong. Like I'm definitely gonna try. But just reading the things that I've read about it and how they're gonna do it, more than likely, it's probably not gonna happen. From a video standpoint. But I'm gonna do what I can do, and I'm gonna try to get in there and see some of it. Right. Russell said, if people touch these items, that's their problem, and I mean, it's. Hey, if you touch it, it's your problem, all right? I'm not coming to help you out. Like, I told you not to touch it. You touched it. Now, yeah, I get it, Russell. That's freaking hilarious. Russell also saying The Conjuring 2 was the Nun's debut. Yes, it was. Yes, it was. Val is saying Annabelle and Valak. Just no. Both scare the shit out of me. Right. I mean, and that's the idea of the character, right? That's something that they did so well with the Conjuring franchise, was they've established characters outside of the main characters, and not only are they characters, but they're villains, and they're villains that stick with people and resonate with people. So they've done a very good job with that for sure. Russell said Annabelle and Valak team up would be interesting. That's fucking nightmare fuel, Russell. Could you see him like high-fiving after like they got somebody? Like, I don't know, man. I don't know. Val is saying this is the case that got the Warrens to stop investigating. Yeah, maybe. I really don't know. To be honest with you, like I've looked at some of the stuff, but the investigation itself is probably more of a Paranormal Friday or whatever day I do it on now type of show, to where we look in depth at haunting, because The Conjuring, let's be honest, The Conjuring is going to take maybe a 10th or a 20th of what really happened and put that in, and Hollywood's going to do the rest, right? So that's one thing. Like, we will talk a little bit about the Smurl case and get into that just a little bit. I'm not going to get too far into it, because we know that The Conjuring's going to, like I said, take just a little bit of that, and then they're going to Hollywood it out, right? So we know that more than likely we're not going to get a whole lot of what really happened there, because and that's fair, because when you make these movies, you want entertainment, and a lot of paranormal investigation is sitting around waiting for stuff to happen. So as we saw with like the Parents and the Enfield poltergeist, it was a very loose representation of those actual hauntings, and I feel like this is going to be the same way. To be honest, I'd probably bet 99.9% of everything that I own that it's going to be a very loose representation. But that's not a reason why we shouldn't be super freaking entertained by it, right? Annabelle Comes Home is the first movie the Warrens weren't in it much. I don't think that they were in Creation that much either, were they? I mean, they were in Comes Home probably way more than they were in Creation, unless I'm mixing my movies up, and sometimes I do that. Sometimes I do. Russell saying the Smurl family was a crazy case. Lorraine Warren told Ed to stop the case because things got real. It was like The Exorcist. Yeah, maybe. I mean, so here's the thing. Like, and I promise I'm gonna hit play again here in a second, but looking at the Smurl case, because I did look it over. I did look it over a little bit, and with any Warren's investigation, you have two sides, right? You have the side of people that are just like, yeah, this is fucking awesome, I want to know absolutely everything, and then you have the other side of people, and it seems to be more so with the Warrens than anybody else, that are just like, it's fake, this has been proven to be fake, we have this, we have that, they're phonies. So especially when you're researching stuff that has to do with Ed and Lorraine Warren, you kind of have to mitigate, like you kind of have to go through that and kind of filter through what you see. And it sucks with this, because the amount of things I saw in the Smurl case when I was looking into it was the amount of people saying that it wasn't real. And it's like, okay, fine, you said that part, but I want to get to the parts that might be in the Conjuring movie and the things that they might talk about. So So yeah, let's go ahead and jump back into the trailer just a little bit. Oh, I see Jamie Hart is in the chat saying I'm looking forward to seeing the Conjuring Last Rites, but I have avoided watching the trailer. Trailers are risky these days. They give away too much. Yeah, that's debatable with this one, for sure, Jamie. It is, but it's a lot of flashes, so it doesn't give you like setup and things like that. So I am grateful for that, but yeah, you definitely do see quite a bit. All right, let's jump back into this here.
Every family's different.
All right, so we get the door opening, guess what, guys? It's another haunting. The door opens, pan back to Ed and Lorraine. That's their jam, right? So here we go. All right, so I want to go back to that just a little bit, right? Let me go back just a little here because I want to pause it on that part right there. So you notice the hand, right? So they're sitting there at dinner. Now, here's my question, because I'm gonna have to go back and watch the other Conjuring movies. For the simple fact that that's not their daughter, is it? Is that their daughter? That can't be their daughter. Is it their daughter? It can't be their daughter, right? So she was not a prominent character enough for me to remember what her face looks like, and yet I just sat here probably about, what was it, about 10 minutes ago, and told you that The Conjuring 1 was top 3 horror movies for me of all time. But yet I can't recognize a side character. So but either way, whomever that is, you have that hand there. You got Ed, he's looking down like, oh shit, I'm messing with that. I'm sure that's one of the things that Lorraine sees, right? And we know that from past Conjuring movies because she's the one that sees all the things that happen. And there's more things in the trailer that we do see as well coming up that it's just like, yeah, I can tell that that's going to be a Lorraine situation where she's standing there and, something pops up. Russell is saying, no, that's the Smurl family's daughter. Okay, it makes sense that, something wouldn't be haunting their own daughter, because I feel like they probably would have, taken care of that for sure. But let's see what else we got here. But we do have the hand, right? So if you guys remember in the original Conjuring, when she walked in and saw the parent family, she was like, yeah, she could see the entity that was following them around. So if I had to guess, this is probably one of their initial meetings. It looks like it's at a restaurant, and she's kind of getting that type of thing to where whatever it is that is haunting their family or is presenting itself to Lorraine, and that's right on par with the other Conjuring movies for sure. All right, let's go ahead and go.
Once we start, there's no going back.
They have to do dolls, don't they? They always have to do the damn dolls in these movies. You guys know how I feel about the dolls. So in the trailer at this point, we're starting to ramp up here. We've established that the Warrens are on the case because Ed's even said once we started, we're not going to stop. So as this trailer's going on, we're a minute into it, and it's done all of these things to pull us in. It's pulled Conjuring fans in at this point. Now we're starting to look at all the newer stuff that we're going to get. So as we see, obviously this is 90%. This is a Smurl family here. And what better way to start off a haunting than with a creepy hand at a restaurant and dolls, right? Let's see what we got here.
Anything can happen.
Not only do you have a doll that's walking by itself, you're gonna have it do the Michael sit up on me, right? You're gonna have it do the shape. I'm gonna see a haunted doll, and you're gonna have it sit up on me like it's the shape. Like that's where we're going with this. That's just fantastic. And that's not enough. We're gonna have it floating behind her, and then we get that. What the hell was that? There. That's what that is. What in the actual hell? To me, the face, for one, that's really a whole lot of CGI. That mouth is jacked up. But to me, the skin on the face is matching the hand that was on her shoulder. I have a feeling, could be wrong, of course. That's probably the hand that was on her shoulder in the restaurant. You know, she's got to have the creepy smile on her. You're gonna tell me that right eyes, or I get if I turn around, yeah, that's her. The entity's right eye. It's got to be jacked up and looking up to the right like that. Like, come on, man. All right, let's see what else we got here.
And most likely anything will.
All right, so you get Ed and Lorraine showing up at the door after the scary shit's done popped off. Like we're here. You know what I mean? So now they've established all the things we've talked about prior to this. We've established a haunting, and we've established that Ed and Lorraine have come to the rescue, right? And that's what The Conjuring does. That's what these movies, this is what we look at for these movies. We want to see, it's really a simple formula that they do with these, but it's playing out in the trailer now, you know, and the trailer doesn't always play out the way that the movie does. You know, right now they're just pulling us in to get us to watch the movie. Throwing the release date in the middle and using the tape like that, that's freaking awesome. There's some more familiar stuff for us. This shot right here, I wanted to stop for when I did the trailer reaction. I mentioned this. This is a fantastic shot. I absolutely love. This could be a wallpaper on my desktop. You know, being a fan of The Conjuring like I am, I love this shot of Lorraine this way. Like, to me, it seems like a vision. You know, one of her, you know, I'm checking out. I'm going to see a whole bunch of paranormal shit. I'll come back and tell you what I saw moments, right? But that's what this looks like to me. And what a fantastic shot, for real. Now, what the hell is going on here? I honestly have no idea. If you notice this, though, I just noticed this right now. I've never paused it on this part. It looks like, you know, you have the reflections, but if you look in the top left, it looks like that person is either bald or has blonde hair and is way taller than her. So obviously there is something else in there. Like, there is something else. Yeah, I mean, shit, it's got to be. The thing's like fucking 7 feet tall, right? Off to the left there, it's there. Not really sure what the hell that is. Russell says it's Annabelle. I say, well, no, Annabelle. Russell, that's Annabelle. Annabelle done grew up and gained about fucking Jesus. That thing's got to be 6'7". I mean, seriously. Val's like, I see it. Yeah. It's right there on the left. Jamie says it's a thing from It Follows. The thing from It Follows was horrifying. You talking about that giant that came through the door, Jamie? Yes, that's a rather large individual that is only in the reflection here. But yeah, let's go ahead and move on.
Yeah.
Now, we're just gonna fucking float. And what the fuck is that? I don't think Jerry's still here, but if he is, it looks like Wrong Turn has made its Conjuring debut, because that's the feeling I get from this thing. Why they gotta put it in overalls, though? With a lantern, of all things. That feels very Wrong Turn to me. And I don't really... I don't know. Like, is that a good choice for The Conjuring? Maybe it's cool, right? Maybe it's I don't really know. I don't know. What's up, Peter? I hope you're doing well, man. Yeah, I can't wait for this one either. September, brother. We got it in September. Val saying Wrong Turn clashes with The Conjuring. Yeah, it's those are the type of vibes. You know, you got the overall, you got the lantern. But you know, maybe it's demon in true form, and he was from... I'm not even gonna say it.
Something's changed.
Oh, you see, you get the familiar sit up right there. So to me,
Something's different.
what did I do? Did I go back too far? I don't think I did. Whatever. This is what I was trying to get to. Possibly. I think I just did the same thing again. They'll never let me do trailer breakdowns, people.
Changed.
We get the Annabelle sit up. That's what I was trying to put up there, but whatever. I'm not going to sit here and play with this all day, right? So things are starting to go bad, as you can tell. I mean, shit, he's got his Bible's on fire. I mean, shit's obviously hitting the fan if the damn Bible's on fire. You know it's Bible because the way he's holding it in his hands up, right? So whatever this is, it is extremely powerful to be doing that. The look on Ed's face is one of holy shit. So there is no way that this is going well for them at this point. And that's a good thing to throw in the trailer, right? So when they get there to save the day, they are realizing there is some crazy shit going on. You hear Lorraine saying something's changed, and she doesn't look happy that it's changed. So whatever this is, you know, that they're fighting, this entity is obviously giving them, you know, a hell of a battle, right? So they're making that evident here that this isn't going to be no walk in the park for Ed and Lorraine. So let's go ahead and build that tension. They're building very good tension with not only the music, the collection of scenes that they're throwing up here, because they're all something that is going bad for not only the family, but Ed and Lorraine.
Something's different.
Now this has got to be a Lorraine vision, right? So guaranteed, you know, that's one of Lorraine's visions that she's seeing. So we haven't seen, you know, any of the buildup for what the symbolism is of her dropping that in there and all the blood coming out. So it's kind of hard to tell where they're going with that, but it's definitely pretty extreme for sure. That's another thing too that I'm wondering, because if you look back at this, you do see them that they are at a funeral, right? And that's somewhat concerning because you look at Ed's face right there. Now notice we do not see Lorraine anywhere near him. Now, I'm not saying that they would do that because, for one, it didn't happen that way in real life, and everybody knows that because Lorraine was there. But it is definitely someone close to them. And I'm wondering if maybe this case is so bad, either A, the demon actually does take someone from them, or B, that maybe it's a character that's been in, you know, previous Conjuring movies that we've maybe it's somebody from their team. It could be someone from the family, and Ed's looking down like he's lost something, like he failed, or maybe it's someone from his team. You know, they always have the teams that come in for the investigations with them. So this can go kind of either way. Like, I'm very curious to why they would throw a funeral into the trailer. I don't know. Maybe I could be looking into it way too much, but I don't know. Jamie was saying, do they live in an old farmhouse? It's a good question, Jamie. It's definitely a good question, because the demon that was in that scene definitely looks as if, you know, that's where it would be from. So we can only speculate, you know. It's I don't know. Russell saying smile crossing over to the Conjuring. Yeah, I mean, we've seen two smiles in this so far, right? We had the original demon with the big ass smile on his face, and then we had Uncle Elmer that came walking through there with the smile on his face. So yeah. Russell saying this could be setting up Annabelle 4. I don't know, maybe. I didn't even know they were going to make Annabelle 4. I could see why they would. I mean, they made plenty of money off of it, for sure. Val is saying, this is what freaks me out. Their family has to be affected by this. That is the necklace from the first one. Yeah, so what symbolism is that for this new haunting? So yeah, that's absolutely freaking crazy, for sure. Hey, Val, you did not lie with that, for sure. Russell said maybe one of the Warrens die. I don't think so, because I do know that, you know, Ed obviously passed away before Lorraine. Now if you're talking about like their daughter, like that would be kind of jacked up. For sure. Oh my goodness. All right, let's move on. Okay, so that made me nervous. Did you notice that they showed the funeral and then now look, I'm not trying to be one of those YouTube creators like, did you see what that was? That's got to be what this is. But it is they did it on purpose. I feel like they did it on purpose to throw us off, but I'm gonna mention it. Like, how do you go from a funeral to look at the very next scene after the funeral? It shows Lorraine. It looks like Lorraine and her daughter. Right? How do you go from the funeral scene to that scene in the middle of something crazy? Like, all I'm saying is I noticed it. All right, so it was a good collection of crazy shit, right? And you're gonna end it with a big bang, and you're gonna come into something a little more quiet, but you still want that last scare because you want to end the trailer on a scare, not only for the Conjuring fans, but for the general audience. You want to just pull people in at the end of the trailer, right? So they're going to do it by sitting a creepy ass demon next to a rocking chair. We already have a history with rocking chairs in this film. Let's go ahead and add this new demon sitting like it is, laughing. And yeah, they're doing a good job with that.
I've been waiting so patiently for you.
Not only are they going to fight the demon, but apparently the demon's been waiting for them, right? And it sounds suspiciously a lot like the demon, or actually the ghost. I guess it was a ghost of the guy in the Conjuring 2 that sat in the chair, right? The one that was being controlled by Valak. I forget his name. It's gonna pop in my head when this is up. But yeah, maybe that's just the demon sound and everything. But look, man, like they're ending it right. Then you're going to get the super fast crawl up at the end, the jump scare to pull in your audience. You're going to end it with a familiar sound, yes, it was Bill, Jamie. It was Bill. My name is Bill Wilkins. I think it was. God, yes, 100%. So you're going to end it with that. We're going to throw in some familiar music. We're going to let you know that it is the Conjuring Last Rites. And we're going to give you the release date. Jerry, thank you so much. Jerry has gifted 2 Movies and Beyond memberships. Jerry, you are the man. Thank you so much. Thank you a million times, my friend. Yeah, and go back if you weren't here to see the I see that Val said you missed the wrong turn demon. Yeah, so there was that. But thank you so much for that, Jerry. Thank you a million times. You have no idea how much that means to me. Let's see. Jamie was saying, I think his name is Bill. Val said, yes, it was. Yes, that's Bill Wilkins. Yes. It almost, the thing about it was his name was memorable for the simple fact that, he said it so many times. He said, I hate StreamYard is so stupid right now. That he said, my name is Bill. So I do remember that. But now for this one right here, we can talk a little bit about, seeing it initially. You can watch my reaction. I was just like, oh, this is fucking awesome. And then seeing it 35 times afterwards, I'm definitely looking into it. Definitely do notice the CGI a lot. And see, here's the thing, right? You're going to have CGI with these movies, and I'm fine with that. I'm totally fine that you're going to do CGI because you're going to want things to look crazy. That's fine. But I just hope it's a little more polished for the movie as opposed to the trailer, which is, that's fair. People that do break down, nerds like myself that look into freaking everything and want to see every little detail. It's something that probably, let me say hopefully, not probably, hopefully gets cleaned up a little bit before the movie's released. When you have a trailer, you have your collection of scenes that you put out, but I guarantee that they're not finished. So I'm hoping that they do polish it a little more before it comes out. I do. I really hope that. Thank you so much. Peter saying it definitely looks lower budget for CGI. I agree. I hope I'm wrong. Yeah, man. Like, so we can look at the hand that was on her shoulder in the restaurant. Like if I really want to nerd out, that looked kind of out of place. I think they could do a little more with that. The demon that was smiling, that we paused it on, that was holding the doll, when you looked around its mouth area, it didn't really look finished so much. And I mean, this is going to be a quick scene in the movie, and don't I know, I'm nerding out with it, right? Nope. 99% of people aren't going to give a shit. There's going to be that 1% of people that are going to look at it and be like, guys, you could have did better with this. And I'm sure they know that. And then, me trying to understand the wrong turn demon, right? Trying to understand how he fits into that and what they're doing with that. And then the first time, as many times as I saw the trailer, for the first time, watching it today with you guys, I noticed the mirror scene when I paused it, the giant that was in the back that I didn't see the other 25 times that I watched it. So hell yeah, I'm glad I watched it again with you guys for sure. Val is saying, I hope all is going well with your knee, Peter. Yeah, dude, I hope that you are doing better, my man. I've kind of been following a little bit on Instagram when you're posting stuff up there, man. I hope that it's healing well, brother, and you're gonna be back to running down the street here soon. Peter's also saying the problem is today we know what great CGI looks like, so even for us regulars, we can see and notice it. The new Predator, for example, yeah. Yeah, I mean, yeah. It's not so much of a, you have to be an expert to notice some things anymore, because they are, well, like you said it, man. I don't think that I could say it any better, because the fact that we've seen good CGI now is definitely makes the bad CGI more noticeable for sure. But I just want to use this part right here of the show, before I get out of here, because I do have to go to work here in a few minutes, to let you guys tell me, what did you like about the trailer? What did you not like about the trailer? And I'll kind of tell you while I'm waiting for you guys to type it in the chat. One of the things I really liked about the trailer is I love the fact that they showed us in the trailer that, Ed and Lorraine are back. They were, they're the stars of the show, right? Patrick Wilson, Vera Farmiga, to me, they are the glue that keeps these stories together. They're the heroes of the story that we keep coming back for. Whether you're a fan of the real life Warrens or not, you have to give it to Patrick and Vera, because their chemistry together as actors in all of these movies is tops. Like, it is top tier. It's fantastic. Like, you could have like Conjuring 3, for example, right? I am not a huge fan of the Conjuring 3. I didn't hate it. Like I said, it was the last. If I were to rank them, it would be last, right? But it didn't have anything to do with them. Their on-screen presence together and the chemistry that they have was fantastic, and it's been fantastic in all of these. One where it really started to stick out to me was The Conjuring 2, and it's gonna sound weird to say, because I know we focus on the horror aspect of a horror movie like The Conjuring, but it was a simple scene that made me think, like, damn, these two are good together. It was in The Conjuring 2. It was when Ed was playing the guitar for the kids, and she was just standing in the doorway watching him, right? So you could see how close they were and how good of chemistry that these actors had, because you could feel it in that moment. You could feel it between the two. And I think that moment in The Conjuring 2, which is something that's probably never talked about when people talk about The Conjuring 2, stuck with me and radiated with me, that it carried through, because a lot of times when I think about the chemistry of these two actors and portraying two people that are in love, I think of that moment from The Conjuring 2. Craziness, kind of trailed off there, but let's see what we got. Sarah Campbell is in the chat, said, sorry I'm late, I work from home, so you'd think I'd be on time. I'll catch the replay. Hell yeah, let me know in the comments what you thought about the replay for sure. Val said, I did like that they didn't give it all away in the trailer. Yeah, they gave away a lot without giving a lot, right? They showed a lot of scenes, but they didn't give any idea of how you got there, right? I always go back to Halloween Kills when I talk about trailers giving away too much. Like, we knew way too much. This, we got a collection of scenes, and they do seem like intense scenes. I hope that's not all the intense scenes that are, in the movie, to where each one of these parts come up. I know what's going to happen from watching the trailer. But they did it in a way that was quick paced, and it didn't linger on an area to where you had time to really look around and see what was going on to put the puzzle pieces together, if that makes any sense. Russell saying there wasn't anything I didn't like. Hell yeah, man. Hell yeah. Good for you, my dude. Good for you. For me, like I said, CGI was a little CGI-y for me. The Conjuring's usually not one to dwell on. Well, that's not fair to say either. I was about to say something that I would immediately disagree with, and it didn't take a rewatch for me to do it. I'm a little concerned with the guy walking around with the lantern, and what his deal is, and how big of a part he's gonna be, and is like when the nun would show up, she would show up in like quick moments and like point and growl and shit like that, and that was awesome. But this guy looks like he's walking around, and that makes me nervous, a little nervous, just a little bit. I don't know. I probably wouldn't have put that in the trailer. I probably would, maybe a quick flash of him and not one of him kind of walking. I don't know. Let me go back and look at that. Maybe I like that. Maybe I don't. See, that's the funny thing about these trailers when they come out. You watch them so many times and you see little things each time that you didn't see before, and moments that you really enjoyed. Maybe you didn't like the next time around. I don't know. See, I can't find it. I am horrible at scrolling video, you guys. I'm terrible at it. You would think as much as I video edit, I would be better at it. But I'm not. But either way, I think that's the one of the things that CGI face on the thing holding the doll. I don't know. Those are the two things that I'm not a huge fan of. But could be corrected in post, and I'm hoping that it is corrected in post, and I'm hoping that this movie is fantastic. I want nothing more for this movie to be a banger. If you're gonna end it this way, let's go ahead and end it on a top note. Let's go ahead and Friday the 13th part 4 final chapter this bitch, and just make it the shit, right? Let's do that. That's what I want. I want this to be the final chapter of of the Conjuring franchise for sure. Russell said makes me want to watch all 3 Conjurings before September. Oh, that's guaranteed, Russell. That's happening. I have to, for the simple fact that my brain does not store information and keep it like it used to. So yes, I am having to rewatch a lot of movies, especially talking with you, if I know I'm talking with you guys about movies. A movie doesn't last very long in my brain. Like, I remember that I saw it and I can remember main parts, but there's a lot of little things that I just don't remember. So The Conjuring, the first one, I've seen that 1,000 times. Yes, I will watch it again. I could probably word by word that movie. 2 Last Rites I watched not too long ago. Dude, yeah, I'm definitely in September. Well, I'll probably do it late August. Probably watch all 3 of them. Maybe we can do something on the channel for The Conjuring before the Conjuring movie comes out. I think we should. Maybe we should do like a watch party for each one of them. So I haven't done a watch party in like a year on this channel. So maybe we could do that. We could do a watch party of all 3 of them, not at one sitting, of course. I'll go crazy. But maybe we could do that if there's enough people that want to go through them. Val says dealing with multiple demons like it's a box of chocolates. You never know what you're gonna get, aka the wrong turn demon. Yeah, and see, that's all it could be, right? And I didn't think about that until you said it. Maybe it's not a prominent character, so maybe my concern for that is maybe something she just sees. Maybe it's just something and in an area that she's in to where it's just like, oh shit, what's that? You know what I mean? Kind of like the mother in the Conjuring, the first Conjuring, when it was down in the basement and it was crying. Maybe it's something along those lines. Good call, Val. Good call. Oh, Russell's saying they always say it's the final movie. Yeah, that is true, right? So you're telling me that they could new beginning me. This is the last rites, and then it's like the new rites, and it's like, oh, I thought those were the last rites. Yeah, but we got new ones, and here's the next movie. Yeah, they could. But I ultimately, Russell, this movie ends up making, like, what's the budget of this movie? Let's say it's $30 million, but it's probably more than that. But let's say this movie makes 200 in the box office. Yeah, that'll probably be a Conjuring 5. I just have that feeling. Val says Conjuring watch parties is a must before this movie comes out. Hell yeah. Like, yeah, we should get that together. We should do that. I'll have to figure out how, but yeah, I think so. Even as a Sunday show, I think we should do that. Maybe we could do 3 weeks. Well, it'd have to be longer than that because I do every other week. Maybe every other week that I'm not with Matt. Probably like in the August, late July, August, early August. We could do a Conjuring movie because there's only 3. There's only 3. So yeah, we could do that. That'd be cool. Val said 35 million was. Hey, I was close. I said like 30 or 50, didn't I? I kind of gave a wide ballpark there. So yeah, hell yeah, $35 million budget. So yeah, if this movie makes $200 million, yeah, I pretty much tell you we're gonna see a Conjuring 5. The new rights will come out, not the last ones, the first ones. The first ones of the new batch of rights will come out. Like, these are the first ones of the new ones of the. They're not those last rights. These are the new rights. We got a new movie. Russell said, I got my own copies so I can watch with everyone. Hell yeah, man. I do too. These are must-owns for me. Like, I gotta have these. Whether you own it on digital or whether you own it on physical media, these are definitely ones to own. So this was a Conjuring trailer. I think we did our own little. I'm sure that there's other people that have broken this trailer down and they found every little speck of everything, but that just wouldn't be our style over here at Movies and Beyond, would it? Right? We're just happy that we find one thing. Like, oh, I didn't see that before. Look at that. Look what we found. Right? But I am definitely excited for this movie. I can't wait. I really can't wait. This is a theater experience, you guys. Don't wait for this one to come on video or whatever, digital streaming. This, you got to go to the theater. You got to go to the theater for The Conjuring. Even if the movie sucks, it's still going to look good and it's still going to sound good. And it's going to give you that false sense that you thought it was a good movie. And then you watch it again. You're like, oh, shit, I guess the theater experience got me. Either way. So this is definitely a theater watch for me. I will not be missing this one in the theater. So what did you guys think of Horror Talk and Coffee today? And I will be trying to do these fairly regularly. So the next one will be it will be Thursday, not next Thursday, but the following Thursday. We will be doing this every 2 weeks, and I did move them to Thursdays for the simple fact that it works out better for me outside of this. The Conjuring Last Rites. Looking forward to seeing it. This is all I'm going to do today. I've got to go ahead and get ready for work. I've got to go start my other job. But with that being said, I hope you guys had a good time looking at this. Let me know in the comments what you guys think about this movie, because I do want to have more of a conversation about it. So let me know what you guys think. And with that being said, I'm going to get out of here. It's been a blast, and I will see y'all next time. Peace.
Toodaloo, motherfucker.
Hey, you